Snake Eyes, because I didn't get to see this one. Jader did just recently. I haven't had a chance to go out and see. I want to see this. It looks interesting, but I never got around to it. So Snake Eyes just came out this past weekend. It is a G.I. Joe origin story, I guess. Jader, jump right into it. What is this film about?
I guess is very loosely. I mean, not very, kind of on the money what you just said. A G.I. Joe movie. I guess that's exactly what it is. So, full transparency with you guys. I grew up watching G.I. Joe. I don't remember it. I had the toys. I remember the characters. I don't remember any storyline, any lore, nothing. So I am probably not the best person to, really dive deep into what this world is, but, I'm going to do my best. I saw this movie without seeing a single trailer for it. I knew it was coming out. I knew the trailer was doing big things because I kept seeing it. I'm like, oh, I'll get around to watching the trailer. I'll get around to watching the trailer. I just never did. So when I went to go see this movie, it was between seeing this and going to see Old, right? And Old was just an hour away from where I live versus a 20-minute drive to go see Snake Eyes. So I'm like, you know what? Old comes out this week and I'll check it out. Let me go see Snake Eyes. So when I went to go see, I didn't know what to expect. I sat down and, the movie starts and I had fun with it. I had a good time. It is basically the origin story of the character of Snake Eyes and how he comes to become said character. Now, we all know that Henry Golding is the star of this film. He doesn't go by any other name except for Snake Eyes in this movie, even when it's a kid. So basically, the movie starts off, and we'll talk. I will give a spoiler warning. I'll just let you know, guys, when, because I do want to talk about something that I found out recently. But the movie starts off with him and his dad, and basically his dad is murdered, right? He escapes. His dad, his dad fights back to with the bad guys, and then he tells his son to keep running and run. And then his son witnesses his father being murdered, and he grows this revenge and hate in his heart to get the person that killed his father. Basically, how he gets the name of Snake Eyes is that the bad guy gives him a die, gives his dad a dice. Sorry, he gives him dices, and he was like, roll for your life. He rolls Snake Eyes, bad news, boom, dead. And that's how he just, goes that. Then he becomes a cage fighter, someone, and then he's doing his thing. He's fighting, but he's always seeking vengeance he's trying to find this man that killed his father. Some guy finds him and tells him that, I know where I know where this guy is. I need you to do a favor for me. And then our story begins, right? Yeah. Pretty much the gist of it. I don't want to get too much into detail because of, again, if you haven't seen it. And one thing I will tell you is if you have not seen this trailer, don't, and go watch the film. Maybe you'll enjoy it like I did. I know a lot of people that saw the trailer were completely disappointed. This movie is actually bombing. It's not doing very great, and it's not getting a very good critical review because I think people were expecting just something different. So Henry Golding is Snake Eyes, like I said, and he is an overall very charming person in every film that he's in. If there's anything that you're gonna get, even if you're not a fan of films that he's in, you're gonna get a good performance out of him. He wasn't bad in this film whatsoever, but I feel like he was just very monotoned. It was probably the character that was written for him and all that.
Last Christmas was better.
Acting wise, yeah. I mean, he gives a little bit more in Last Christmas. Yeah, you know what, man? I fucking hate you for that movie, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really enjoyed it, man. Like I was hating it so much, and then I was like, it's not bad. And then I saw it again. I'm like, it really isn't that bad.
Not at all.
But yeah. So you have, you go into this world, and then based on the trailers, you see that he's getting trained by by these ninjas and all that, and that's how you become you're getting the warrior. But how do I say this? You're kind of rooting, and I guess this can be a slight spoiler. You're kind of rooting for the bad guy in this movie, or your hero is not what you think he is, and you're kind of like, man, what the hell's going on? And then the like, you understand why a lot of like, they set up a lot for the future. Like, you can tell this is a big setup for future, which I don't know if they're even gonna be able to spin off movies or bring the Joes in because of how it's performing. But you have your little introduction to and I'm sure I saw this in the trailer that the Baroness is in the movie, which is a character from the G.I. Joe. Scarlett's in it, which she's been in previous films. You have Blind Master. You have said characters where you're like, all right, I know these characters. My issue with this is that it had so much potential to be a great martial arts movie, but you literally had shaky cam for every single fight. Everything was like shot like this, which sucked. That was one of the things that I'm like, man, I don't like the camera work here. It takes a lot from the actual fights. But overall, a standout, and one standout that I have to like give credit where credit's due. I think Andrew Koji outshines Henry Golding in this movie, which he plays the character of Tommy. Fantastic character, great arc, great arc. They set him up so great in this movie. And then you see where the brotherhood of between Tommy and Snake Eyes starts, and where it ends up throughout the film. And again, it's very, how do I say it? It's like a lukewarm film talking about it. Like I got out of there and I'm like, man, I didn't hate it. I actually thought it was a pretty badass film. But as you think about it, it's something that has been done plenty of times. I feel like this movie was just a generic action movie, and the studio was like, we'll make this if you throw characters we know in it. And then they're like, fuck it, let's make it a G.I. Joe movie. That's honestly what like in retrospect, like, don't get me wrong, I got out of that movie, I'm like, man, I liked it. It was pretty badass. Saw the trailer for it when I got home, and I was like, oh my God, they show you the whole freaking movie in that trailer. There were no surprises for anyone. Like, no surprises for anyone. So it's a fun film by any means, not terrible. You can, if you want to have just some dumb fun at the theater, I definitely recommend it. I feel like you'd have a good time with it. I'm more curious. The movie ended and I kind of wanted the sequel right away, and the reason why was because they set up just this great arc right at the end of the movie. And I'm like, where was this? Like, this is what I want. Now I have to wait if they make this movie to see what's going to happen, right? So right here's where I don't know if you want to type in spoiler warning, because I do want to get into some spoilers right now. Where it says Snake Eyes, but so I'll let you set that up very quick before I get in there.
Hold on.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Here we go.
There you go. Perfect. So, couple things that my negatives are mostly spoilers. That's why. So do you know the character of Snake Eyes whatsoever? Like, anything at all?
No, so I want to throw this in there. I think G.I. Joe's kind of got this stink on it right now. Yeah. People just don't care, and that's reflecting in the box office. The two movies that came out, I want to say maybe over 10 years ago at this point, even more than that. The last one bombed, and the one before that people just didn't care about either. And so they waited a long time to bring it back with Snake Eyes. And in the box office, you can see this week, people don't care again. This movie feels like it was kind of thrown out there in the way you described it too, which was the plot when you were describing the beginning, a kid watches his dad get murdered and then wants revenge. How many times have we seen that? Then he becomes a cage fighter. I felt like I just saw that in Mortal Kombat earlier this year.
Well, it's funny. It has a lot of comparisons to Mortal Kombat, to be completely honest. So,
So yeah,
in my opinion, the better film.
so if you're gonna be this movie that's part of this franchise that has this stink on it right now, you need to give us a reason to be excited to get in there to see it. And I just feel like a lot of marketing wasn't put into it. They picked a bad time to release it, which is, right dead in the middle of summer. We're still coming back from the pandemic. Not a lot of marketing was put into it. I just feel like
I just found out about this movie a month ago. That's why I'm like, oh, I'll see the trailer soon. And then boom, the movie's out. I'm like, oh, guess not. I'll just go watch this movie blindly.
Exactly.
So this is my thing. The character of Snake Eyes doesn't talk, doesn't take off his mask. He doesn't do anything. You're going to put a charming guy and a handsome guy like Henry Golding behind this mask. Now, this is the thing. He doesn't get his Snake Eye suit until the last shot of the film. So you don't see him ever be Snake Eyes, like the actual character that we know from the show, right? And he gets that suit, in my opinion, very undeservedly. Very undeservedly. There's no way that in my head doesn't make sense that he kind of screws over the people that let him in, right? And then they're like, hey, thanks for not screwing us completely. Here's the suit. And I was like, no, like I would be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, fuck you, personally. Not only that, so that's one of the things. So, and then Snake Eyes, again, I don't know this about the character, but I know he just doesn't talk and he doesn't take off his suit. You don't see him. You don't see him ever. He's always the Black Ninja. You don't see anything, right? So I'm like, all right, maybe something. It's like, Deadpool, right? Ryan Reynolds, good looking guy. They fucked him up. Wears the mask. There's jokes throughout the film about it. Nothing happens to this character, right? Where I'm like, all right, so is it next movie that we're going to get? Like, he's already got the suit. So why? Nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to him in the fact where he shouldn't be able to talk and he shouldn't be able to take off his mask because maybe something happened. I don't know that. I don't remember that in the original, but I'm pretty sure something happens to Snake Eyes in the lore where he doesn't take off his mask and he doesn't speak for a reason, So that was one thing that I didn't like from it. Another thing is that I got home and I saw the trailer, right? When I saw the trailer, the mid-credit scene to set up the next film is in the trailer. So that big surprise where I'm like, the whole time I'm like, I think this is this character. I think this is this character. Yeah, there's no surprise in it. I had no idea that he was part of the marketing as that character. So I mean, I guess I can say it, but Tommy is Shadowstorm, which is Snake Eyes' arch rival. But the whole movie, they don't show you that until the mid-credit scene. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I didn't know that they have posters with Andrew Koji is Shadowstorm. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like you should have just at least put that, because a lot of people what disappointed some of my friends was like, dude, I thought Shadowstorm was going to be like the villain at the end of the movie and that we were going to see the beginning of that rivalry. They're like, but no, it was a setup for the rivalry to begin in the sequel to this movie or the next movie. Scarlett is barely in it. You can take her out of the film, won't matter. Yes, I feel like they put Samara Weaving's in the movie for like 15, 20 minutes, and they put her in there as hey, the Joes exist. Just know that, but we're not going to use her anymore. So it was little things.
It's the cart before the horse, like Power Rangers, Dark Universe situation. Yeah.
Pretty much. But again,
on the franchise instead of the movie. It's like make a good movie and then do the franchise.
This is all something that, again, it was more thinking about it that I'm like, because when you're in there, you're paying attention and, like it looks pretty. It looks nice. There's some scenes there's one particular fight scene that happens in the rain in an alley that I thought was so dope. Again, the shaky cam was a thing, but it wasn't as bad. I think the shaky cam gets worse at the end of the film, and then at the very beginning it had it too, where I was like, oh my god, stop. But there's one in the rain that I really, really liked just the style of the choreography. There's a scene literally where Samara Weaving's character is walking, and the camera is doing the where's she going like that, where you're like, dude, it's not even an action, she's just walking.
Why do people do that still? Like, no, do you know anybody who likes shaky cam? Like a single person out there? I felt like John Wick got rid of it. Like, like, just put the camera on the actors and
let them do their thing. And again, it's a martial arts film. Martial arts is, you gotta like pan out and see what they're doing against each other. It was the camera part was rough. Again, I'm not gonna say that I didn't enjoy the movie. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. But in like when I was more thinking about it, I was like, oh, this didn't work, and I didn't like this, and oh my god, yeah, this happened. And then when I saw the trailer, I'm like, I can see why people were upset. Again, I went in there blind, not knowing who was in it. I didn't know. I knew Henry Golding was the main guy. I didn't know Samara Weaving was in it. I didn't know Andrew Koji was in it. There was a lot of things where I was like, I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. That's cool. So when I saw the trailer, I'm like, I can see why people are pissed off. Like, it's just you can see pretty much, you can connect the dots with the trailer alone, hands down. So
that sucks, man.
That's the only thing that sucks. It's a fun film. You got to know what you're getting yourself into when you're gonna go see a G.I. Joe film. It's not a game changer. Not the best. Definitely not the worst movie of the weekend. If you haven't checked it out, I would recommend it, but just cautious. Like, if you can wait. If you want to go in there and have some fun, shove some popcorn down your throat and watch it, I don't see why not. Okay,
so Snake Eyes, it sounds like you wanted to recommend it at the beginning, and then as you kind of talked yourself into not recommending it by the end. So Snake Eyes, do what you want with it, guys. It sounds like something that pisses me off, which is you're trying to set up a franchise before you even make a good movie in the first place. And you just, like, I thought we learned to stop doing that, and I guess not. So another failed G.I. Joe property, and we know we'll reboot it again in 10 years and see what happens. Make it a TV show. Let's try that.
I think that'll work.